Today we're going to talk about filming interviews. So I'm at the Miss Virginia competition in Roanoke, Virginia here today. And for the second year in a row, my media company or production company has had the great fortune of partnering with the Miss Virginia organization to be the chief media provider for the competition week. Today, we're going to be shooting contestant introductions that are going to play at the beginning of the competition nights, and also we're going to air when the competitors introduce their own individual talents. And so we got to the venue. We are at a beautiful conference center. We have a room that's not necessarily optimized for interviews, but we're going to walk you through how we set it up for interviews today. And this can be used in a lot of different scenarios, including YouTube videos or whatnot. So let's walk through our equipment. So first things first, we have this thing. I just learned it's called a step and repeat, which is going to be our background where all the competitors are going to stand in front of this and deliver their lines. The organization was kind enough to have this set up for us, but it's in the corner of this room, and the doorway to the room is actually right here where the traffic is going to be and where the competitors are going to be coming in and out. So first things first, we don't want to set up our equipment right here because it's going to block the doorway. And so what we're going to do is we're going to move this over here. We're going to turn off that light behind it. I don't think there's going to be any light bleed through anyway, but we're going to turn off this light. We're going to move it over here, and then we're going to start setting up our tripod and our lights. So we're filming with the Sony FX3 today, and for the lens we've got the Tamron 28-75. I find this lens is plenty sharp, and also it gives us a little bit of a zoom range if we need to change the frame versus moving the tripod if we were using a prime lens. So we rigged it out a little bit. Part of it is for function, and part of it is just for looks because it looks cooler when it's rigged out. So we've got the camera body, we've got a small rig cage on it, we've got a small rig V-mount adapter thingamadig. We got a 99 volt, or 99 watt rather, small rig mini V-mount battery. We've got the FX3 audio top handle. We've got a 7-inch Portkeys monitor mounted on the back. And then we have a matte box on the front because matte boxes just look cool. And I'm monitoring audio with Shure headphones. I'm not really an audiophile, but we've got the headphones plugged into the FX3 so we can monitor audio live. And we're using a small rig fluid head tripod so we can do pans and move it around as needed a little bit easier. For lighting, so our key light is the Amaran 300C. It is at 27% at 5600 Kelvin. We're using that on a light stand with a sandbag. We've got a small rig soft box with one layer of diffusion, which works pretty well. For the fill light, we're actually using a GVM 100 watt light with a lantern. And because it's a fill light and not using it on the full thing, it's actually pointed up, and so we're getting kind of a part of it onto the subject's face. That's on an identical light stand with another sandbag. And for a hair, it's a bit of a hair light and a little bit of a background light, both. This is a GVM, I think it's like a 1000D LED panel light on a C-stand. It's giving us a little bit of light onto our background here, and also it's going to be giving a little bit of light onto our subjects, onto their shoulder and their head to separate them from the background a little bit. And for audio, we are running a pretty cool dual microphone setup here that I kind of jerry-rigged together. I'm a big believer in backups, and you want to have backups of audio and video if possible. Our video backup is because the FX3 actually has dual SD card slots, so we were recording to two SD cards at the same time. So for audio, our main microphone is the Rode NTG5. That is running via an XLR cable directly into the audio top handle on the FX3. But for a backup, this one is a Rode Video Mic Go 2. And what I did, my hack is I plugged the 3.5 millimeter out of the Video Mic Go 2 into a DJI Mic 2 transmitter, which is 32-bit float and has onboard recording. And so that's going to be recording the whole time, and that is going to give me an audio backup. And I'm actually pretty interested to see how those two compare. The NTG5 is going to be closer to the contestants as they're speaking, but I am really interested to hear how that sounds, and I bet it's going to sound pretty good. And so that is our setup here. We've got the floor marked for where we're going to have the competitors stand. It is about 3 feet or so from the background, again, to give them a little bit of separation. For an aperture on the camera here today, we're going to go with an f5. We don't need a super blurry background. We're at the Miss Virginia competition. We've got a background that says Miss Virginia. We don't need that to be too blurry. We actually want that to be a little bit in focus. And so overall, we framed this pretty well. Oh, and actually, one thing that I forgot to mention that's actually really cool is we have a production monitor, actually an old TV. And so one of the features of the Portkeys monitor that we have is that it also has an HDMI out. And so I've run an HDMI cord, a fairly long one, out from the 7-inch monitor on the camera to a 13 or 15 or so inch television that's sitting here on this little table. And so this actually is going to serve 2 purposes. So I'm standing on the mark now, and I've got this framed for me. It might not be framed right for the competitors, but I can actually see myself on the monitor, what I look like, exactly what the frame is going to be that's going to be recorded. This monitor actually serves dual purposes, one for me and then one for the competitors. The one for me is because the competitors coming in are going to be of different heights, the height of the microphone is going to have to be adjusted between each competitor. And so this is easier for me to be able to see if the mic's in frame as I'm raising the boom pole up and down. But it also serves as kind of a cool thing for the competitors because, you know, after all, this is a kind of a beauty pageant. And so the competitors can see, make sure their hair is good, makeup is good, and that they're ready to go. And so they can see and get a nice little preview of what the audience is going to see whenever the audience is watching them on the big screen at the competition.
Hi, I am Katie Rose, your Miss Virginia 2023.
I'm your Miss Virginia's Teen 2023, Addison Rudy.
We are so excited to see who will be our next Miss Virginia and Miss Virginia's teen.
Who will she be? Let's meet them now.
There's no time like apple blossom time. Proudly representing the blooms of the Shenandoah Valley, I am Miss Apple Blossom Festival 2024, Madison Marchant.
Live, love, bloom. This is the motto of the Shenandoah Apple Blossom Festival that I call home. Proudly representing the bloom, I am Miss Apple Blossom Teen, Caitlin Jewell.
Representing a county that...
And so that's a wrap. So we had about 50 Miss Virginia and Miss Virginia's teen competitors come through today. We filmed each competitor 2 separate times, one for an intro to the pageant and the other for an intro to their individual talents. It went great. All the girls did great. The set that we set up worked as intended and as expected, and the production staff with the show that saw everything were very impressed with what we did. And so this was a very good experience, and please feel free to take some of this and apply it to your own work.